Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bluford's Tax Preparation, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, Casa Samtonieta Indialapa, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, John Boutique Hotel and Co-work, Montzon Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get-together live here on Facebook and live here on YouTube, where we take a look at headlines from our city, our state, and our country. We take a look at what you bring to the table in terms of questions or comments about life here in Puerto Vallarta, and we connect the dots to make sure that we are sharing these connections as best as possible. Today is Thursday, August 14, and of course, as usual, we put together a show for you that includes all kinds of interesting news, a little bit of shocking news, particularly if you are interested in or own a timeshare project or property here in Puerto Vallarta. I also have, clickbait. I love it. I also have some mundane photos that I forgot to show you from my errand run the other day at Macroplaza. Just little stuff, but you know, when you live here year round, sometimes it's the little things that make a big difference. So get yourself comfortable, grab a cup of coffee. Here we go. For starters, this almost made me laugh. Luis Romero, who's the director of UnibusPV, the company that provides city bus transportation here in Puerto Vallarta, has announced that they have put a new electric bus into service on the Ecoterra Ley route. And when I say a new electric bus, everything seems to indicate that this is actually the truth. There's literally one new electric bus. It has not even yet been adapted to the fare sharing system that we use, where there's a little machine that looks at your card or takes the money. And Luis Romero, who directs Unibus, emphasized that 22 electric buses of this type will arrive collectively on December 15 of this year, while 79 of the new gas units will arrive in batches in October. Are you confused? Because I am. See, we've had the batch of buses that are replacing old buses. We've had the batch of flexible, longer buses that were announced for Francisco Medina Asensio. And it's kind of challenging to know which is which. I guess at the end of the day, the good news is that we're getting new buses, and I'll believe it when I see it. Now, that was one. The second one that I want to show you about, or talk to you about, is that Municipal Treasurer Raúl Pérez explained a little bit more about how parking meters would work in Puerto Vallarta. This is a project that has generated a lot of controversy during its exploratory phase. And he noted that the City Council will submit the call for proposals and bids for approval at the appropriate time, and emphasized that residents will be involved in deciding which projects in the area will be funded with the revenue generated by the parking meter income. So this is quite funny as an inside observer, because part of the news item sounds like we're just contemplating this. And then the other part of the announcement sounds like, oh, but we will consult with the population as to how we're going to use the money. So one part of it talks about it as if it's not yet confirmed, and the other one sounds like it's confirmed, which makes it really interesting to read. We also learned that the parking meter operation will offer multiple payment options, both physical and digital, to streamline their use, and that the project will also include a registry so that residents of the included areas can park their vehicles without paying the parking meters. Are you confused? I'm a little confused, but you know me, I'll try to deconfuse us as time moves on. And this is interesting, this deserves a little bit of a cultural explainer. Puerto Vallarta will have 5 Tukiplayas. So before we go on with this one, let me just backtrack for a second. Our current administration is part of the Green Party, the Partido Verde. Their mascot, if you will, is a toucan, a pretty bird, a toucan, which is why everything that is now announced by the current administration is not toucan, but Tuki seems to be the name of the mascot. So we now have Tuki beaches and Tukilandia parks for children. I can't wait for the Tuki gay bars, if you ask me, but I'm being cynical. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Back to the news. Anyhow, the Puerto Vallarta City Council, in keeping with its tradition and alluding to the bird in its Green Ecologist Party logo, is planning the renovation of 5 public beach resorts in Puerto Vallarta. That's what they call them. 5 public beaches, which have been dubbed Tukiplayas. Tuki beaches. The invitations have already been sent out for the opening of the first, which will be the Palmares Beach. So I don't know if that DJ rave that they announced is the same party in which they're going to announce these family-oriented beaches. Seems like a contradiction if you ask me, but that's what the city is doing. Anyhow, work at the improvements at the Palmares Beach is underway right now, because in a week they're going to have this big party. They're renovating its infrastructure, including ramps, stairs, planters, showers, parking spaces. And in case you're wondering, the other 4 beaches that are going to be improved with all kinds of facilities are Conchas Chinas, the Holly Beach right behind La Isla, Camarones in the city center, and Playa de Oro in the northern hotel zone. So those are the 5 Tukiplayas that will be intervened by the municipal government. The first one is already underway. And this is good news if you appreciate green areas in Puerto Vallarta. The Municipal Sports Council of the city has intensified its efforts to recover and revitalize public spaces around the city. The first one that they're working on is this park in Palmar de Aramara. And what they're doing is they're renovating green areas and rehabilitating the sporting facilities. And of course, the government ultimately seeks to return safe and functional recreational spaces to the community. And this is great news. And now, this happened. The United States Department of Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control, or OFAC, has sanctioned and named out loud 13 Mexican companies for their involvement in timeshare fraud. The companies are primarily located here in Puerto Vallarta, although some operate in Mezcales and in the state of Nayarit, and of course in Guadalajara. The 13 companies are mentioned in, oh my goodness. Okay, I'm here. The 13 companies are mentioned in the referenced article. So, if you're doing timeshare stuff, just be careful out there. Make sure to take a look at the reference article so that if you're already involved in some timeshare investment, you can verify if your company is legit or is not. Now, let us take a quick look at the weather forecast just to see what is going on out there. Rain stopping in 2 minutes. Frack, yeah, says our snarky weatherman. I don't believe it because it's totally sunny out there. It's 29 degrees right now. Humidity is at 77%. Our weather forecast for today: thunderstorms throughout the day, a 69% chance of rain, a high of 31 and a low of 24. Then tomorrow, rain in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 68%, a high of 32, and a low of 24. And then Saturday, rain in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 80%, a high of 32, and a low of 24. So at least in paper or on screen, it looks like we're going to have a wet weekend. But of course, as always with the weather forecast, this remains to be seen. And now I have one event that I want to tell you about. But first, when was it? It was not yesterday. It was the day before. I went for neurofeedback with Stan, and it was perfect because it allowed me to clear my mind and feel great. And it allowed me to organize the thoughts that I needed to organize. And then I went to run some errands that I needed to run in Macroplaza. And I took some photographs that might be of interest. 3 photos, actually. The first one is this one, this empty space, which is directly across from the China store, is about to be ready for a new occupant. So I asked the security guard at the China store, so what's coming in this space, do you know? And he told me that it is the SAT office. SAT, of course, being an English speaking local, you know, it's Mexico's Internal Revenue Service. You may have had to go to the SAT to make some payments on Francisco Villa Avenue. That's where the office is currently located. This is across the street from La Comer. So I don't know if the entire operation is going to be relocating to La Isla, I mean, not La Isla, to Macroplaza, or they're just increasing their capacity. So one way or another, if you have to go to SAT and make a payment or deal with any kind of related business, and you find that the office in Francisco Villa is closed, then you will know that they have moved to Macroplaza. We don't know exactly when this will happen, but this seems to be happening sometime in the very near future, according to what I was told. Now, I often get asked, where do you go shopping for groceries? And I like to go to all the different supermarkets in my vicinity because they're different brands, they carry different products. Case in point, I have been craving couscous for a few days now. I can't remember when was the last time I made couscous at home. And I was like, wow, how did I forget about couscous? So I remember going to La Comer, as a matter of fact, and they had imported couscous. And it was nice to know that it was there, but each package was a little bit more than what I cared to spend on a package of couscous. So I walked into Walmart in my mindless errands day, and I realized that Walmart has couscous at 45 pesos a package, which is less than half the price of the imported couscous that I had seen at La Comer. So if you want to make couscous at home, there you have it. And last but not least, also at Macro Plaza, I was getting ready to come home and fix myself a bite, but I walked past the quarter kilo burger place, and I took a whiff, and it smelled so good, so I just stayed. I stayed for a burger. I'd never tried them before. This is right outside of Walmart on the way to the bus. And I sat down and I enjoyed my burger and the fries. And they had a special sauce that they made that was sort of spicy, which was absolutely wonderful. So if you haven't given these burgers a go and you're shopping at Macro Plaza, I totally recommend them. Last but not least, on the things that I was able to find, apparently, uh, La Isla will have a circus show a week from this Sunday, on Sunday, August 24th at 5 p.m. So there's no details. We don't know what kind of circus. We don't know what they're going to do. I assume this is going to take place on that outdoor um, stage, which is right next to the movie theater. So maybe Sunday, a good day to go to the movies and then check out the circus to see what it is about. And of course, it's time for chit chat, but because Pat Metheny is around the corner, have a look at this.
Few guitarists have reshaped the sound of modern jazz like Pat Metheny. For over 5 decades, he's blended warmth, innovation, and global influences into music that transcends genre. Discovered at just 19 by vibraphonist Gary Burton, Metheny's talent took him from Missouri's heartland to the world stage. His early albums for the legendary ECM label set a new standard for sound and storytelling. With longtime collaborator Lyle Mays, Metheny created music that's both intricate and instantly recognizable. From the driving pulse of phase dance to the haunting beauty of Last Train Home, his work speaks without words. This special presentation by music storyteller Paco Ojeda explores his evolution, his collaborations, and the stories behind his most iconic works. Perfect timing before his upcoming live concert in Guadalajara. Join us for an evening of music appreciation and discovery. Tickets, 300 pesos at the Joint's reception desk. Reserve early. Space is limited.
Yay, Pat Metheny, we are excited. Let's take a look at your questions and comments. And this one made me laugh at the beginning. Clickbait, and I loved it. John says, Hola, can't wait to tell you all about the new musical show when I get back. For those of you that don't know, John is a sweet, sweet, wonderful, big mensch man. He's a playwright. He's a theater director, and he has written a musical show that he is going to produce at Act 2 Entertainment in the fall. And John, I'm glad that you're away to enjoy the world wherever you are, charging your batteries. I look forward to your return in the spotlight interview, hopefully, where you will tell us more about this project of yours. Chris says, you know what goes with Thursday? Tacos. Yes, tacos. I want some tacos. Let's see what we have. Let's see. More good mornings. What? Eric, are you in Guadalajara with our dear friend, amiga Luisa? I love it. If that is the case, Luisa and Luke and Luisa, hello. I look forward to seeing you in September when we go to Guadalajara for Pat Metheny. Let's see what else we have. JC says, sounds good that the locals are exempt from paying the meters in front of their homes. This is a very real challenge and situation, because a lot of the properties in Emiliano Zapata and El Centro and places where they want to put these parking meters are properties that, for better or worse, were not designed with their own parking garage. So yes, the municipal government apparently wants to keep a registry so that, if you don't have a parking garage, you should be able to park in front of your house without having to pay a meter of one kind or another. No, for real. Logan says the Tuki Beaches, not to be confused with the Tuki Bitches show, 12:30 a.m. coming soon to Paco's Ranch. Are you for real, Logan? Are some local drag queens coming up with a Tuki drag show? That would be so hysterical. Maybe when we do our December Dia de los Inocentes special broadcast, which is our equivalent to April Fool's Day up north, maybe we should do a Tuki something on that day. I'll get the wheels turning on that one. I believe we just explained this, so we can skip it. Oh, Gary. Why did the toucan stop using his phone? He got a large bill. Did you see the special video that I produced for you, Gary? In case you missed it, I even tagged you on it, because when we talked about chiles en nogada early this week, I was not quite ready. and I didn't deliver the goods as well as I wanted to. So I made a separate video for that, and it's dedicated to you, Gary. There you have it. Is that much timeshare fraud? I think you would need to research fully if that works for you. Laura, I don't research. I just present the headlines. If a large number of you came to me and said, can you research this? I might be compelled to do that. But my job here is to amplify the headlines more than anything else. Is that is there much timeshare fraud, which is what I think you mean to ask? Apparently, yes. Apparently, yes. And people need to be careful with what we sign whenever we're doing such a large investment, like buying a property or buying a timeshare. So it's good to be careful. Let's see what else we have. Angelica asks, ¿Qué es couscous? Oh, Angelica, have you lost track of your relationship with Google? You can always search for these things, but since you asked while we were looking at the Pat Metheny video, I got up and quickly grabbed a couscous package. I love it because they spell it in Spanish. Couscous is what they're calling it. What is couscous? I cannot begin to describe what couscous is. It is made out of wheat, and it's usually comes seasoned. I don't know if this one has does this have a seasoning pack? Maybe that's why it was less expensive. Yeah, this doesn't appear to have a seasoning pack, but you boil it in water and until it dries. And once it's dried, it is a perfect accompaniment, a healthy accompaniment to a meal. And you can use the sauce on whatever it is that you prepared to mix with the couscous, and it's just wonderful. Let's see. Timeshare sales still at the airport? Of course. Horror for unwary travelers. Yes. Unfortunately, when you land in Puerto Vallarta and you're an international flyer or flying into Puerto Vallarta from another country, yes, you are subjected to this nightmare of people that want to sell you something, and tours and packages and this and that and the other. And we can get into who is behind that and why it has been monopolized for so many years. But we're not going to go there unless you really want me to. But then, they could come looking for me, and it's not pretty. But yes, it happens. It happens every time I have international friends arriving. I always say, just go like this. Pay no attention to what's being offered to you. Don't fall for it. Let's see what else. Barbara, I'm happy you're excited about coming back. I love it. Liz says, hope you will repeat Metheny when I'm in Puerto Vallarta this winter. If you send me a note and let me know the dates when you're here, Liz, I'm always happy to do that. I've already received requests to repeat the house music presentation when there are more gays in town, I was told. So yes, we will be repeating things. Just let me know what you want and when you want it. And if it's possible, we will certainly schedule encore presentations. Yes. Let's see. Chris says, Paco, test this one out. Cook up the small fine egg noodles. Put butter in the cooked noodles and fresh garlic. That's it. Test that one out. Very delicious. That's the beautiful thing about couscous. Thank you very much, Chris. You don't have to do anything fancy with them. They're just amazing. And because I make a lot of sauce-based dishes at home, to have dry couscous and just mix it with the sauces of what I cook, yummy. I'm excited about that. Let's see. Gary says, I saw it and loved it. Thank you very much. I'll put it in the show notes in case you missed my thing about chiles en nogada. I will include it in the show notes today. Muffin is preaching. Every pantry should be stocked with couscous and quinoa. Oh, God. I know the Q word, but I've never had to say it out loud. Swapped out swap out your white rice for these grains, and you'll go about your day feeling much better. I hear you, and I'm totally in agreement with you. And looking at the time, I am agreeing that it's time to get going. We have lots of things to do today in anticipation for this weekend. Again, as a reminder, I'm going away. I'm going to Yelapa to take wonderful video of the places we're staying, of the town. I haven't been there in a decade, so I'm looking forward to that. Tomorrow, we are going to have a pre-recorded Evergreen special. You'll be amazed at the amount of video content that I've produced for you through the past 5 years. I went and looked at the list, and it's quite amazing. And I found some morsels of early promotional videos and early, evergreen content that is useful anytime. And I'm going to bring back some of those. It'll be funny. I won't be here, but it'll be funny. I promise. Have a great day. And I will see you back here Monday live for more coffee, more headlines, and more stories. A great weekend to all.